Yeah. First time I've ever met anybody with my design, because my design is usually your generation age.
All right.
I got kind of like the middle ground for it.
Gotcha.
We're talking about human design?
Yeah. I'm a generator,
It's a generator,
5'2".
Yeah, I know you're
What can you say about this?
Rolling.
All right, so here we are at Tree People in the heart of Los Angeles / Beverly Hills, an amazing hiking spot in the valley of the greater Los Angeles, Beverly Hills area, and we have these amazing souls here. And we just finished up a amazing presentation by the all great Syncretist Santos Bonacci.
Why, thank you.
In Burbank, called All is a Tomb, and we're here to just kind of babble and talk about whatever. And obviously we got some chaga and crystals and rose water and essential oils and cell phones, and not that goes together, but yeah, man. So here we go. I mean, Santos, why don't you lead off what you want to talk about?
Well, I like the word babble that you said. What were you talking about at the Tor and Bull presentation, really? The torus and the hyperbola, which are the main constituents, the main parts of the atom, all is atom. So everything is atomic according to the Hermetic. I had to bring this along because just to show how everywhere they praise atom, atom. And when you know the true model of the universe, which we thrashed out at the presentation, and you know that it is a torus field, and inside the inverse of the sphere of the torus field is the hyperbola, and then you extract those two syllables. Thank you, Robert Taylor, who taught us about the original language of humanity is monosyllabic, made of radicals. And so Tor and Bull, the Taurus and the Bull. So babbling is what the Tauruses do, because babbling means to speak. And when you ramble on, or you babble, or you read the Bible or the Torah, it's all the Word of God. And so Bol then is the Word of God. It expresses thrusting, speaking forth. So when you speak in hyperbole, well, that's the hyperbola.
Now you get into the Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
In the Old Testament, right? Elaborate on that, because that has something to do with what we're talking about.
Again, that's the tower. It's the bell tower. Bel, the beautiful god, Baal, is the bull. He's always looking like a bull. And so the Tower of Babel, where all the languages were confused, doesn't mean that they were confused as in everybody necessarily couldn't understand. Fuse means to bring together. All the languages fuse syncretically into the torus field. So the Tower of Babel is basically just when God made humans in their terrible torus bodies, now they are speaking, and that is Babel. You see, it's not about confusion, it's not negative. Nimrod, rod is backwards for door, tor, torus field. So everything goes back to those words, everything. And Tor is red, and Bull is blue. It's a redshift, blue shift world. And Bull, hyperbull, means to hyperthrust, and Tor is backwards for rotate. The Torah rotating, the tarot rotating. So it's all about magnetic fields. It's known that magnetism, mag in Sanskrit means to move. So it's the rotating field. Everything is rotating. Not the earth, it's stationary. Thank you, Pierluigi Gina, the great legend and genius colleague of Marconi, who says the only thing that's turning, people, pay attention, is the ether above the earth. Ether, earther, they're sisters. Ketha, Malkuth, they are sisters. So the sun is in charge. He is the regulator of the ecliptic, and he regulates the etheric, the ether field above us. And the planets, as they align themselves and array themselves in different arrangements throughout the timeline, they are channeling energies and making the theatre on the earth, which is what we are participating in.
The theater, I love it.
Yeah, anagram for earth, anagram for heart.
Anahata.
Anahata. Yeah, interesting. This chakra is called Anahata. Ana means fire, and Leo is fire, the lion heart, and Hata is the heart. When you pay attention to words, everything syncs up.
Anahata is 18 in numerology. Jesus is 18 in numerology. Jesus is Jupiter. The fourth chakra is the Jupiter, right? Green. Anahata, green. You know what's interesting? The cards of destiny, the typical poker cards, these cards, the original heart, the original suit of hearts was actually green. It was an ivy instead of a red heart.
Wow.
Back in the German times, in the medieval times. When the cards came out, it was actually ivy. That represented the heart.
So what's the association with Jupiter?
Jupiter's the fourth, well, in some formats, Jupiter's the fourth planet. And he runs the heart chakra, which is the biggest planet. Right? So the interesting part about nature is, if you look up, the most predominant color in the sky is blue, which would represent Kronos, the throat chakra. And then green is Jupiter, Mother Earth. So Jesus runs this part, Father, Son. From chakra standpoint.
That's why everything is green.
Right, that's why Earth is the heart.
Lush, it's the heart chakra.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's
Taurus.
magnificent.
Taurus.
And 4 is Jupiter's symbol.
That's right.
Like a 24.
Which is your birthday.
Yeah, the 24th of March.
Wow.
Kevin
24.
filming 24th of March, and the
Wow.
clock is 24 hours. So how appropriate that we're talking about the 24-hour clock as well.
And the clock is kind of like a wheel with 24 spokes. And getting back to the idea of Babel and Taurus fields, spokes like spoken words, like spokes on a wheel, which is interesting. That's a symbol of Dharma in Buddhism, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good point.
The 4, and this is 2020, which is the year of 4, and there's 4 elements.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. And my name is Jillian, which means the child of the gods, which means Jove's child, Jupiter's child.
Yeah.
So we're essentially tapping into our own intertwining of our DNA right now and reading them
Totally.
of each
Henry,
other.
the Eight of Diamonds, Jupiter
Yeah.
line. Yeah.
You notice-
yeah.
I was thinking too, 2020 is like 2 T's. When you combine 2 T's, you get pi, which is like everything coming full circle.
Full circle.
And
Yeah.
T's the cross.
But the
Completion.
capital
T.
T.
Yeah, but
Combining 2
Right.
capital T's is like,
With- it's
you
the
get like
letter-
the
yeah,
pi
which is pi.
symbolism.
that's right.
Yeah.
And that's in the Greek alphabet.
So the Tower of Babel, essentially, I heard that when we started going into the Dark Ages, our brain started functioning more of a left brain angle type of absorption, if you will. So now we're evolving to more of a right brain, kind of like how you were saying, the blue, if it was. So if we're moving towards more of a blue, we're essentially changing that within our brain, right? And that's associated. Is the Tower of Babel in the brain? That's a question that I actually get a lot.
It has to be in you. Whatever is in
Yeah.
Scripture is in you. Man is the measure of the universe.
And the Bible is a physiological representation of the body.
Perfect.
Wow.
How close that baby is.
Whoa.
Wow.
Hey, you know what? They represent
It's a hawk.
mental thoughts. So she just blessed our mental
many
field and cleansed it.
Did you get that on camera?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That was super close.
Divine. And Jillian, your throat chakra is near your head, right? And your red chakra is down in Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, where your Sodom is your bottom chakra, where you can be sodomized, right? So Gomorrah is the sexual chakra. So when you're down in the lust and everything's lustful and wrong, you're in Sodom and Gomorrah. So the blue, you see how red shift and blue shift, but that's not evil and this is not good. It's not like that. I learnt this from Walter Russell. He said when you go into the center, the medulla oblongata, this is blue, this is red. Red is linear, right? Because it's radiation and it brings you into the world through radiation. So that's linear, it's time space. This is out of time, you see. This is intuitive, non-linear, direct contact with God. And what he said was, when you go to the white light in the Red Sea, funny it should be called the Red Sea, not the medulla oblongata, the what's in between the two
Corpus
corpus callosum, thank you very much. When you center yourself in there, then the two fields come into the middle, and there's no blue shift, red shift anymore.
It comes.
No more red pill, blue pill, red blood, blue blood. Roses are red, violets are blue.
Transmutation.
Is it merged
White
like
light.
purple, violet, crown color?
Yes, because violet is the highest frequency of light that our human eye can detect. Next one is non-vibratory white light.
Violet.
Violet,
Look
yeah,
at
there it is.
Look at all
So,
this purple.
hats off to Black Sabbath there. Plug for Black Sabbath and Logan's. What's your...
Gab, the healersproject.com.
Thehealersproject.com if you're a fan of Black Sabbath and good
I'll
truth.
tag Black Sabbath on this.
Sure.
They're gonna appreciate that.
Yeah, right. For sure.
This is amazing, you guys. Wow.
It's the coffee of teas.
Ember, can you describe what we're drinking there?
Coffee of teas.
I love it.
Can I describe what?
Can you describe what's going on with the drink?
Yes, this is the sacred
Taste
drink
it?
chaga,
Okay.
and it's known as the mushroom
Actually,
of immortality
It's on that
from the
brink of
taiga, the
chocolate a
largest
little bit. I don't know if you
forest
taste
in the
the
world,
chocolate there. You know what I'm
in
saying?
Siberia. It has thousands of more times antioxidants than blueberries, and it's the highest source of melanin one can consume. And it's also adaptogenic, so it nourishes any of the systems of the body that are out of balance.
Cool.
And it's the coffee of teas. Very energizing, but very grounding, very earthy.
Awesome.
Essentially, being in our bodies, being in our physical vessels, we're being in our water, right? We're being in the emotions, in the experience, in the life. And so blue is the color of water. And so there's all these different things in the Bible about blue, over the great arcanum, you know, the different cloths that they use. Everything is blue, and so essentially blue is the divine. So it's the portal to the divine. And so when you're uncovering all these names of blue, like you were saying in your presentation, it was just connecting so many dots for me, because essentially if water is life, then the structure of water means that it's the structure of life. And so why I chose the beehive, the bee leaf structure on this, and this isn't even my company, this is, I met her name is Kaden, Blue Bottle Love in Maui. She puts these designs,
Nice.
Maui mother. So these designs are on the blue bottles, and when you look inside of them, you can see that they're structuring the water by the actual structure of it. There is sandblasted. So what I noticed about bees is that they're the same structure. They're hexagons as the structure of water. So what does that tell us? There's 6 sides to them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've created a completion structure. So that structure can come about, can be birthed. So we've just created water. We just tapped into ether. Water is ether, right? Ether moves like water. It is water. And so when we go through these cycles, the golden age, the dark age, the bronze age, the silver age, we are either more or less ether, you could say. We are more hydrated, dehydrated, right? When we're dehydrated, we are so dried up from life. The life was taken from us, right? And so moving back to where we're going, the blue is guiding us. And especially in your teachings, it's just all so intertwined.
Krishna is blue.
Yes.
He's black, but he's also blue.
Yes.
Yep.
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
The water has Tor in it, Wator.
Yes.
Yes, Taurus field. And I would put water is like ether is. If you put a W in front of ether, you get weather, more or less, right? And so, and all the elements have weather in them. Water, weather.
Yes.
You know? Earth, just put a W in front. Weather. It's all the weather from the ether.
Wow.
Is there a
And Go ahead.
Is there a relation between dielectricity and ether, and is that why ether sounds like either one, like either or?
Well, Ken Wheeler says that it is. That's the ether, dielectricity.
Okay.
The black still field, the field. It's the ether, and it is dielectric. Because it doesn't move. Electricity moves. Red shift, blue shift. It's a wave. And magnetism is the force behind electricity. He calls electricity a hybrid. It's a hybrid. Whereas magnetism, it just stands on its own. It doesn't need electricity, but they are always together. Like fire is always together with heat and always together with light. So it's a trinity of fire, light and heat. And so the same with that. They're always together. Magnetism. You see Isis with a little baby, right? That's magnetism. That's Mary, Isis Mary, the pure white light which does not vibrate, and she has a child, the only begotten, because electricity can only come from magnetism, longitudinal radial wave, to produce the transverse wave, the child. And the child is always a twin. It's always a twin, you know.
It's like Isis had a twin, the twin that we don't know about. That's in movies all the time, is this mysterious twin.
Twins.
Interesting.
Could Lucifer be Lucifer be Thomas? Jesus' brother. Could it be that?
It is, absolutely. Because in the book of Enoch, one of the names of Jesus is, the Son is Thomas. And the Son, the risen Saviour, is Jesus Christ, the Lord of the skies. So he has Thomas Didymus. Didymus is Thomas. Think about it. Thomas Didymus. It's basically just saying Thomas twice, because it's telling you that we are all twins. Jupiter, the Taurus field, Jupiter, he boasts, Zeus always boasts, his great boast is, when Saturn and Rhea, my parents, time and space, Kronos and Rhea, bring souls in, rather than Saturn continually eating and devouring them, I make them, give them torsos, Taurus fields, I am Jupiter, and so what I do is I split the soul of every soul coming into incarnation in two. So we're all twins. We're all looking for our twin out there. You cannot escape this. So whether you've got a physical twin, you know, born on the same time through the same mother, etc., or you're looking for your soulmate who's your twin flame, we are twins. We're all twins.
And is this correlated with the Ka body, the light body that the Egyptians call your twin?
Merkaba
Yeah,
would
like
be the same as
Ka body.
Israel. Yes, it is. So, Israel, it's interesting how Ra and El are right and left. Isis is white light, Ra is red, right turning light. El is blue, left turning vortexes. And here your blue chakra is left turning, sucking in the toroidal energy through the fontanelle, blue shift, and it's going through, bathing your body, going out the perineum, red shift, right turning.
Right turning.
Yeah. So, yeah, everything is turning, torsion fields, talking, turbulent. My favourite words are Taurus bull words. Terrible becomes adorable. Turbulent, trouble, travel. These are all Taurus bull words. And how many words in English end with, bull? Reliable, dependable, and even full, because F is a liquid of B. So you've got spoonful, responsible, going back to bull. So full and bull at the end of words, and then you've got tor at the end of words. So many, creator, actor, significator. And so it's always going back to the trinity of words, which is Tom, the twin, the atom, all is atum, and it's two twins, red shift, blue shift, Tor and bull. The Torah and the Bible. Yeah, if you want to study, this guy here says science is the other side of the coin of theology, and the theologians do not know that they're dealing in science when they're talking about God and theology. So our good friend, the Reverend Robert Taylor, who came from the Midlands, Birmingham, where these guys, Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, half of Led Zeppelin's band, come from, and they were all truthers as well. This guy was a big truther. He went to jail twice for teaching what they said. They were saying, don't go to the devil's pulpit, to see this guy, Robert Taylor, because he's teaching astrotheology, right? So he was teaching, what was the point we were talking about? Oops.
Oh, I lost my train. were we talking about?
Gee,
I thought you were talking about Lucifer being Thomas.
Well, that was the start.
That was
of
the
the
start
question.
of it.
Then he went into. He ended up going into a all as a tomb again. So.
Science and theology.
Solace in theology.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a good-
Exactly.
good one.
Where he's saying that it's so sad that the people who claim to be not from the devil, the churches, have confused. They do not know that the other side of theology is science. So that inspired me a lot to understand how everything that is scientific, physics, chemistry, etc., must be theological as well. So science is dealing in how this matter came to be, how the material world came to be, right? That's their main concern. And pastors are trying to teach, the religious side is trying to teach how God made the matter. You know? They're one and the same. You know? Science is theology. So the Egyptians said all is atum. What did that mean? Well, that means that everything is atomic. And so once you understand that everything is atomic, and you understand the true model of the atom, the proton, the neutron, and the electron, then you'll understand that the other trinities. Everything is trinities. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Father, the Mother, and the Son, as in Osiris, Isis, and Horus, or Semiramis, Tammuz, and Nimrod. The list goes on and on and on. And it's dealing with how things come to be. There is a field. The field is dielectric. The field modality, the first field modality is magnetism, movement. The third is electricity. And there are just 3 field modalities. The ether is the field. So it's good to be able to understand that. So
We're the resistance. Everything that's physical is the resistance of the waves that come through the matrix as the currency.
Yep.
yes.
The pulse is the electricity, which is the wave, which then we become the resistance. We're standing in the wake of the wave, and we absorb those waves. So we're the resistance. In Ohm's law, right?
Yes.
Voltage, current, and resistance. We are the resistance.
We are.
Which kind of interesting that the Terminator says you are the resistance. Actually, even Alex Jones on InfoWars, thank you, Alex.
You are the resistance.
Oh, he's right.
So we
Just
are
not
the
your
currency.
resistance, dude. What's that?
We are the currency.
We're part of
We
that.
Are the current.
We stand in the way of the currency because it's coming through, and then it goes into you, and you stop that currency. You absorb it.
And this is why the banking systems are all water words. The banks stop the flow of currency.
We're in water.
Cash flow.
Air is water. H2,
Air is water.
H2O, and,
Hydrogen.
hydrogen.
Yeah.
Right.
Hydrogen breaks
We're in
down
the sea
to
of
every
space.
single element.
Moving through the sea of space.
Liquidity. Liquidate them.
Yeah.
They love doing that, don't they?
It makes me think of how the bank sounds like the Ankh.
It is.
And if you look at like the shape of the head on top of the Ankh, it's like a drop of water going up.
Yes.
And it's like the oil. And adding to your point about the relationship between Christ and Lucifer, have you guys heard of luciferase? A protein in your brain that's part of the chrism, responsible for bioluminescence. It's written about in The God Design by Kellyanne Marie Kerr, or Kelly Marie Kerr. She talks about the luciferase protein that is bioluminescent in the brain, and it's part of the chrism mixture. So that's maybe why they're twins, is because they work together to make the fullness of the chrism oil.
You have two in the brain. You have the gray matter and the white matter, and then you have the dorsal and ventral roots that break off from that, and they go into a Y. And the dorsal and ventral in numerology equal 46, just like the words Jesus and Lucifer equal 46. So we literally break off. We have the white and the black coming down into one, and then you have obviously all those Ys. I mean, there's all those Ys on the trees. Everything has the letter Y. It's everywhere. A snake's tongue is in the shape of the letter Y, and that's what deceived Eve in the Garden of Eden. But the Y is Yaldabaoth. It's the Yod He Vah He.
Which is what is that, 120 degrees? Which that's the same as a hexagon. A Y, right? 120 degrees. When you blow a bubble, multiple bubbles together are round, but when they come together, they make hexagons. 120 degrees, which is 12. Related to 12.
Yep. Which is magnetic because the 12th
Yeah.
element is magnesium.
And that's the full circle broken into eternity.
So 46 chromosomes.
Yep.
So you said Jesus and
Jesus,
Lucifer are
Jesus
46?
Lucifer equal 46.
In which cipher?
The Chaldean.
Chaldean. That's your favourite one, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you go to English, it's Jesus and Lucifer both equal the number 74. They both equal 74.
Which is reverse of 47.
Right, which is tetragrammaton.
Wow.
But that 46 is interesting. It's your chromosomes.
Yep, chromosomes, which is Jesus Lucifer. We carry that black white.
Yeah.
The light code.
And that's luciferic what liquids? Did you say?
Luciferase protein.
Luciferase protein.
Yeah, luciferase.
Blue.
Right.
Yeah. It's part of the
Okay.
chrism mixture responsible for bioluminescence.
Is it related to phosphorus at all?
Yes, she says it in the book.
Okay. Oh, you know the book.
I just read the page you're talking about yesterday.
So cool! Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so amazing.
What's phosphorus? 15?
15.
Or 15.
Which is Saturn's magic square.
6.
15, which is the box we live in. Then
Right.
the flip of that, the mirror is the 51. 51 plus 15 is 66, which is one short of 666.
And then
51 is chromium, because that's the 24th element, which is one of the elements you hold.
Yes.
It has an atomic weight of 51.
Right.
The 51st element is antimony, which is the all-seeing eye of Horus. Antimony equals 111, 1.21 gigawatts equals 111. It took 1.21 gigawatts to get Marty McFly to time travel. Well, antimony's weight is 121.904.
And how does yttrium fit into that? You
That's
mentioned
88.906. That's
the number
the
of
39th.
Christ. No,
Father time equals 39. Yttrium is 39. Its weight is 88. 88 miles an hour. Which is actually related to radium, which is the 88th element.
And there's 88 constellations in the
Rah.
modern division
88
of the sky.
constellations.
wow.
Yeah.
88 piano keys.
Yep. 88 is massive in the whole esoteric and numbers and everything is all related to that 88. Yep. Yep. Time travel equals 104. Out of time on the license plate equals 104. And Back to the Future.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, look, what was the shape of the flux capacitor that made time travel possible? I don't even know what letter it was in the shape of.
Why? Why?
Exactly. That makes time travel possible. The flux capacitor.
Why?
Why? And it starts with a W. Y starts with a W. The element tungsten has the W, which is 183, and Jesus ends up being 183. So those are interchangeable. But yeah, tungsten is big because tungsten is the 74th element, and the element that has the atomic weight of 74 is the 33rd element, which is arsenic, and Jesus was crucified at the age of 33. We have 33 vertebrae, 33 steps to enlightenment, but that's related to tungsten, and 74 is tungsten, and Jesus equals 74. So does Lucifer. So they're one and the same, just different roles.
Well, I see the elements. I've done a couple of presentations, and there's a few little gems in them, but one of them is that L is electricity and ment is mental. So the universe is mind. El means ul in Hebrew, twist and turning. So the turning mind of God, the rotating field, making the elements.
L is 53.
And LMN in the alphabet, right in the middle of the alphabet, is where the elements happen to be. And many other words like lament. It's lamentable that we are in a, well, sad place, if you want to call it that. Lemon. Well, you often say something's a lemon.
Yep.
Yeah. There's quite a few LMN words, elementary,
Elementary,
yeah,
that one comes to mind.
that have to do with creation. Lumen, that's one.
Lumen.
There's two kinds of lights, right? There's lux, divine light, and there's lumen, mundane light. Lumen.
Lucifer.
Yeah.
Lumen.
Yeah, and both of those
Light
are
bringer.
lunar words, lunar and moon. Lunar mental, and she is mental in astrology. So I see that as the moon in the middle of the alphabet, lunar mental, lunar mind, lunar moon.
And the moon controls the waters of the body, which is that sacred secretion that you were talking about, which is really interesting because once you balance those hemispheres and the corpus callosum releases the milk and honey. It releases the secretion. So essentially all this information and how to embody it is once you're aware, once you know, you can actually work on secreting these and master your body, master the physical, master the waters, and apply all this information so that you can elevate, illuminate, right? Activate the light body. Wow. It's merging. There's emergence happening, especially with all the planets where they are right now with Mercury in retrograde and the new moon in Pisces. There's a lot of water energy about right now. Mercury, mer is mermaid, merchant, right? The water beings.
Murky water.
Wow.
See.
Baptizing the waters within. We're going through an internal baptism, and we have the knowledge and the tools to help people go through that. Like you were saying, purify yourself. Purify yourself. Like change that sexual energy. You can transmute it. You can master it. You can change the way that you perceive a physical body. That's all of our absorption. Wow.
It's the secret to health. George Carey says the wetter your body and the more you retain those fluids, the longer you live. And so you see people drying up, getting wrinkly, and what happens is they put stress on their organs, and because they don't meditate and do yoga, they don't give their organs a rest. They're always eating. Gluttons will not inherit God's kingdom. The kingdom is within. So in other words, they don't inherit their God-given right to be peaceful, happy, to live forever in bliss. They deprive themselves of it. They do it to themselves. So why I'm saying this is I know because I've been sick in the past, and like I'm 56 now and I'm as healthy as I can be due to the things that I practice and do. If I didn't do those things, I wouldn't be here today. I know that because of how much, bad health I've had, and I've never had a disease in my life. I've only had one headache. But what I mean is syndromes like irritable bowel syndrome and things like that, and itchiness and sleep deprivation. Those things kill people.
Yeah.
Those things kill people because on top of that they're drinking alcohol and smoking a lot of toxic tobacco with chemicals in them, and not doing these things, So if I didn't do those things, well, I know I wouldn't be here, but that's the power of the body to stay healthy forever.
You mentioned sin. We all sin. The syndrome, sin. We inherit the sin wave, the sine wave, which is where the dollar bill came from. The dollar symbol came from. Just the sine wave on its side. You guys knew that, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, the dollar bill. It's just the sine wave flipped on its side, and then the line that goes through it is the flat plane.
Isn't there two lines?
Well, yeah, there's one, but I think the old esoteric has one. But some has two. Yep, some has two. Yeah, but that's just the dragon.
There's
the dragon wave.
something coming through right now.
Are you an empath? You must be.
Yeah, I can tune in.
Nice. Well, give us the goods, man.
There's something coming through, something that we have access to, something that Santos has to know or receive or connect, or something about embodiment, something about the energy, because when Mercury is in retrograde, Mercury is the planet of communication. We're essentially communicating with the ether right now. We're holding space. We're creating a structure for us to absorb the knowledge that's coming through. So if we just continue to flow, it will flow through. But there is an intention, there's a direction that I'm feeling very strongly. It's like just keep flowing, but there's an intention for this meeting today. There's actual map somehow, blueprint. There's a blueprint. There's a blueprint.
Notice the word blue.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yes.
Throat chakra, blue.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes me think of, the itching Santos is dealing with. I'd love to do group think on like how to help relieve him of what's going on with that. Because I've thought about that. He's tried so many things, and I want nothing more than for him to have relief so he can bring his message with greater wholeness of being and not feeling like he's being attacked, so he can actually divert that energy to constructive use. I really, really want that for you, brother.
Yeah, me too.
Really want that for you.
And I want
lubrication. So water 2.5 and then 6.0. The pH of 2.5 essentially dries up whatever's coming up to the skin. So yeah, it's acidic. So it, like if you have a pimple or rash or itching, you spray it on, it will sprinkle it, you'll probably flake, it'll come off, and then you spray the 6.0, which is the same pH as your skin, just like plants. Whoa, so we are the same pH as plants in our skin. That's a protection, that's love. That's green. That's heart chakra.
So this might be kind of an outside in approach, whereas a lot of things he's been doing has been inside out, you know, taking antiparasitics, eating certain things, whereas this is kind of like a more topical way to address the site-specific itch.
It's water. You're water. You're just drinking it's yourself. You're using yourself to heal yourself because you're already water. It's technically not outside of you. Everything water can do, we can do. Everything water can do. We can change our pH. We can structure ourselves. When we talk about the crystalline body, we're talking about the structured body, right? So that structuring that water is able to do, create life, hold information, absorb information, move, let go, shift, we can all do that. So that's inviting you into your life. Water is coming into your life, which water is the feminine, which is just so ironic.
Mem in Hebrew, water,
Yes.
memory.
Ember,
Dr.
memory.
Masurumoto, yeah. So memory, mem. And yeah, you can. Everything because we've got water, right? So we program the water, make it, bless it, activate it, structure it.
Yes. So like you were saying, memory, the origin of mem is water. That's what it means. So essentially with Masurumoto, I just got back from his school in Tokyo. So when you're praying to water, when you're worshiping water, it changes the molecular structure of not only the water in your glass, but the entire water in the world. So what they were doing is actually measuring these groups of people that would go and pray over a lake and measure the water miles and miles and miles away. So it actually structures it. So the science of water shows us that all is connected. It truly is connected. So essentially, the way that we talk to ourselves, right, we have to purify ourselves. We have to stop talking to ourselves in certain ways and thinking and doing things that are creating karma for ourselves. So that's essentially affecting the waters in our body. It's structuring the waters a certain way so that what if the way we talk to ourselves and the way we talk to other people, we're programming their waters, we're programming our waters, and that's affecting the secretions in our body, because essentially when you're mastering the balance of the feminine and masculine, the left and the right brain, you're reaching that 0 point, right? That middle point. And once you reach that middle point, you can raise the chrism. And then once the chrism gets to these higher planes in your brain can secrete these new secretions. And what if that is walking on water? What if that is the true meaning of walking on water? Is to be above the maritime admiralty law, right? To be above the law of water, the currency, the money system that's out there. We're drowning. That's why Jesus was the fishers of men. The J is the hook that fishes out the men. So we're all drowning in this maritime admiralty law that's put on us, and essentially there's all these water words that are related with that. So if you look at the banking system and how we're born from our mother's waters, and she signs over our birth certificate like you talk about so much, she's essentially putting a contract on the waters in your body. The waters in your body react to just words on a contract. The molecular structure changes. You've just placed some type of magic on the waters of your baby's body to somehow contract to something that is running the world, like money. Money, moony, money, the moon controls the waters, so our waters have been controlled. Right? And that's essentially what we're all going back to, is these freedom, right? Secretions, freeing our living waters that come from within, and we're drinking from our own well of wisdom, which is free energy. right? The original form of water is an electron donor. It does not take. It's not, we have all these free radicals in our bodies that are stealing electrons from the other cells, and because we're in lack within. So living water, that yin water I was explaining to you, the Mother Earth water, that not from the sky, that's yang water. The yin water from the earth is abundant in electrons, and they go and donate electrons everywhere. That is abundance. This is water abundance within and without. So essentially these secretions, these new secretions are like new codes. They're like codes of creation that we have to master with our sexual energies too. Like that's key. That is so key. And to lift the waters, it's like, why does water go up trees? Because it elevates. It defies gravity, and so does the waters within our bodies, which makes me wonder if we truly master the waters within, our natural spring going to be springing up everywhere? Because we can control the waters. That's what dowsing is, right?
Right.
If we can pull the waters up, Eden, right? The garden is here.
Yeah.
It's the mother,
Do you have a mic to drop? Or?
right?
And that idea of walking on water, when the
Yes.
chrism comes up here, it's literally right above the blue of the throat.
Yes.
And then W is the sine wave, Al, the king. King is on Wa King, like the king on his shirt. King is the Christ within. So Wa King on water is raising the chrism, which I think is the greatest antithesis to the maritime admiralty law.
Yes, because we free ourselves from the system. So our relationship with money is crucial because we're in the age of Aquarius. That is an air sign. The air, the communicator, the waters, the blue. Our relationship with money, that's why entrepreneurship is so healing. You free yourself. You don't have a scapegoat anymore.
Ship,
I can't blame it on the
entrepreneurship.
boss. Yes,
On the
ship.
water.
The ship. And what was Mary on? Mary, the depiction of Mary, mother. Mary means of the sea. She's on a cloud. She's on a cloud, and they're looking at her, right? A cloud is a form of water. It's plasma. Like Dan Winter's implosion, explosion, right? Implosion, that bliss within the body, and the secretion is related to that bliss, right? The more bliss you have, the more that you can raise that secretion, the freeing of the waters. So essentially, we're all bathing in each other's auras.
Yes.
It's just water.
Yes. Paradosis is the Greek word for what happens when you mingle with your company, your good company, and you take away is they're part of their great consciousness.
Wow.
That's why you go and see a guru, not because you're gonna worship this guy because you are equally as divine. You go there because he's been blessed with consciousness, and he will gift you.
He's an
some
electron donor.
Yes. Yes. The electron
Look at the word
donor.
L, electron donor.
Yes.
Doning his
All is a
electricity.
donor.
Wow.
Donor, yeah.
I love it. All is a don.
Which is a negative charge, which is magnetism.
Yeah.
We're magnetic. This is the feminine. She's back. She's rising within us. She is here, and she is merging with the masculine. It's not because water is truly androgynous. There's no
Sure is.
one gender of it. It's both. But in order to get there, we have to be more fluid and let the feminine lead the way back.
Why do you think all the superheroes are all feminine now?
Yeah, exactly. In the movies, exactly.
All feminine power.
And in the movie, what is that one with the Avenger girl?
Oh yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. The blonde.
Yeah, in the movie hexagons are everywhere.
Yep.
She pops in and out of the atmospheres. It's all hexagons.
Snowflakes.
It's a structure. Yeah, exactly. So the structure of our reality is changing.
Yep.
The foundations are falling because the foundations are not structured in the hexagon. This is the meeting of the minds. There's some type of magnetic pull that happens when 6 people come together, and it creates this fairness. It's a circle, but it's a hexagon. It's like the hexagon is like the masculine and the feminine, and there's some type of structure that we're all creating together in the way that we're leveraging, right? Everything is leverage. We came together to talk today, to leverage each other's knowledge, to share this on each other's platforms. This is free energy birthing in the business world. We're changing the business culture. by what we're doing here, helping each other, right? The win-win, the non-zero sum game.
Your idea of changing the waters in one place changes them everywhere makes me think this is probably the reason the Venetians chose to make their land on the water. Because they probably knew that their spell casting affects the water everywhere.
Ooh.
And that's why we have a water.
Wow.
That's why we have a watermark in our all around the place. The obelisks have got a watermark. The Vatican in maritime law has put a watermark everywhere because they want to put us in maritime tax off the land, and that's why now our roads are lanes. They are shipping lanes, right? So it's all about shipping and commerce. They've commercialized us, but the Apostle Peter taught us the true way. We shall obey God as ruler rather than men. So men's laws, positive law, do not trump natural law. So we're still under natural law. And as you said, Julian, yes, the goddess is back. The goddess is magnetism, and she's 10 billion times more powerful than electricity or dielectricity, and that's where we need to be, the mother.
And the Venetians, the Vatican, right, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Vatican was created by the Venetians, and the Venetians have a cult called the cult of Dagon, and they worship a fish god.
Yeah.
Half man, half fish. They know the secrets of the waters. Just like the Dogon tribe in Africa. The Dogon, they know the secrets of the universe, and people are studying this tribe, and the Dogon said that they got their information from the Nomo. The Nomo were these half fish, half human beings, and the way that they shared their knowledge was Nomo means to make one drink. They shared knowledge by making one drink from their own well of wisdom within them. We can read our own water codes. We can read our own Akashic records from within. We just have to learn to drink again, which is the water bearer.
We're fish, though.
Yes.
Nun.
Fish equals 17. The star card is 17.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ever know what the star card looks in the tarot?
Yeah.
That's the 1 foot in the water. That's the aquarium pouring all the water out. That's the fish. Jesus was a fisherman of men. We're fish.
Yes.
Breathing air, but it's still water. It's just not H2O water.
Yes. And
Right?
the front of that book that God designed, it looks like a fish. Fish tail, the bottom of it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's fish.
So I saw when you there you go.
Fish. The star card, 17.
And your 2 feet are Pisces, the fish.
See?
The feet, the fish.
Fish.
So Nomo I saw as Nuno.
Yes.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's just quite incredible.
We're learning, we're remembering to breathe underwater. We're bridging the waters below from the waters above, and we have all the tools to do this. It makes perfect sense. The water's leading the way, which I always say. You just have to surrender to the current, because there is a current that flows through all of us, and we are all connected to the same current. Wake up, purify yourself so that we can all be one again. We can flow together, unite together. This doesn't happen when you're in the same current.
Right. And surrender.
It happens to get there, but
Sur means above, then render, as in to render upwards. And even wake up, as in dying to yourself, because you're sacrificing the chrism or your children energy up to here, so you're waking upward.
wake means the party for the dead.
Yes.
Wake.
Yeah.
Create a wake in the masses. Wow.
When you're riding a boat that creates a wake.
Yes. That's what our company, we're called the Wake Movement.
Yeah.
This is the Wake Movement.
Yep.
My company is called Wake Water Co. And when I was so crazy, I have to tell you this. I was going to name my company Onda. Onda Water.
Or is it Don?
Instead of Wake Water Co. Right? And I was just so, this is.
It's called Wake.
Yeah, it's called Wake Water Co. And this is known as the Wake Movement. And so I've been sharing these concepts of water on my social media, but it just goes over a lot of people's heads. But the more that we flow about it, the more that it's the embodiment of it. It's the purifying of ourselves. It's the getting out there, connecting with people, making those relationships that it's really coming down to. It's not, the information is great, right? This knowledge is truthful, but it took us coming together to make the knowledge alive. This is living water. We are not dead water. The bottled water is dead water. It's just stagnant. It's just dead. That's how most of us are perceiving our world. There's no movement. The electrons waking up again. And it's so. Do you guys know Jose Arguelles? He had a concept that came through where our rainbow bodies, right? That's our auric bodies. There's many layers to the aura, but and this goes back to the Gene Keys with Richard Rudd, the more that we structure ourselves, the more light can come in, right? So we structure our waters, the more light can come in, the more our aura expands, our rainbow body expands to merge with the Earth's body, the rainbow body, and he called it the circumpolar rainbow bridge, and it's equivalent to an atomic bomb. Again, the aura is plasma. This is a new ocean we're creating. This is our auras expanding, becoming one with the cosmic ocean. We're uniting, and it takes that inner work in order to, I go like that, but it's not without, it's within. So the different layers of the aura, the rainbow bridge, this is the rainbow bridge prophecy. This is what the Native Americans knew, which is in my DNA, and I remembered that. And it all connected with the rainbow and the gold at the end of the rainbow. And why is there a leprechaun? Because there's a banker in the way of you finding your gold. It's all connected.
Yeah. And even the water is in remember. So remembrance is not only about, understanding the constituent members of your body to assemble them, but it's about purifying the waters.
And Santos talks about the Maritime Admiralty Law so much because the Vatican owns your soul, because they know the secrets of water. They know how to program water. When you get baptized, you're getting your waters programmed. And I had a friend that got a DNA test, and it literally said Mormon on her DNA test.
What?
Mormon. On her DNA test.
Really?
Yes. I have a picture of it.
I'm not doubting it. That's just pretty interesting.
I know. And then at that moment I got that download about the waters and the baptisms, and I was like, whoa, I've never been baptized before, but they're programming the waters in your DNA. There's a reason why the DNA spirals because it's water. Water naturally vortexes. So what keeps our DNA in knots is these I don't want to say curses, but self-inflicting traumas that we have lived out because we don't want to give power outside of ourselves. We're taking that back, so we take full responsibility, which I learned from Richard Rudd. Take full responsibility. You can't blame anything outside of you, no matter who's after you. When you've done the aura work on yourself, when you've embodied living water, nothing can come into your bubble. That's what we're doing for this planet. We're creating a new bubble. They want our waters. Can't get it. Can't have my waters.
Or your blood. They essentially they want your blood.
Yes, which is 90%.
Blood equals
water.
23. Crown equals 23.
And blood is ocean water. Same chemical composition.
23 pairs of chromosomes.
That's why they take your blood.
Yep. And blood is water.
What was 23?
Blood. The word blood equals 23.
There you go.
Just like the word
Chaldean?
Crown equals. Yep.
I like that Chaldean cipher.
Blood. Blue blood is the blood of the royalty.
Keep in mind, Yahweh equals 23 too.
Right. You know, it's a very popular number. It's Judgment Day,
The
23rd
royal
of
star of the
September.
lion. It's the royal star of the lion. That's why Michael Jordan wore it. That's why LeBron James wears it in basketball. All these big celebrities wear the 23.
And it's Judgment Day, the 23rd of September. It's actually called that in the Jewish calendar when Tishri begins. Sukkoth.
Tishri, that's right.
Sukkoth.
Yep.
And the festival of tabernacles and booths. And so it's to do with Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, but Judgment Day. Why? Because the sun is judged. It's spring and summer is finished. 23rd of September is the equinox.
That's it.
And then
There it
Libra judges the sun in its scales, and it falls from autumn down to winter, the fall. So 23 is that number.
And that's
that
what you
judgment.
were saying about the Sphinx. Is that the beginning of their year is October, did you say? Or
In Virgo, whenever Virgo is.
Virgo. Which is September 23rd.
Virgo.
Which I'm a Virgo in Vedic. Wow.
This is Tisha, right? That's
Tishri.
Tishri, yeah. In Hebrew. You gotta know the Hebrew calendar. It's so important to know that. It's more. I think you agree that it's more accurate than the Gregorian
for sure.
because it's lunar solar.
It's Anno Mundi rather
Mundi.
than Anno Domini. So it's the year of the world, not the Lord. So the Lord would be, I think the year of the Lord will be a political calendar. JC is Julius Caesar.
Yep.
Thank you, Francesco Carlotta, who busted the whole Jesus and Julius Caesar Anno Domini scam with the JC calendar, the Julio-Claudian calendar. because what he did was he showed that everything Jesus did as a popular hero is exactly what Julius Caesar did. They keep making this happen. It's a political calendar, I think. And probably, I might be wrong, but...
And that ties into Serapis too. You know Serapis, the whole story wrapped around that.
Mhm.
Do you know that one, the Serapis?
The Egyptian Alexandrian
No,
Serapis?
maybe. Yeah, but that equals 23 too.
Politics, poll, election, electrons.
Voting,
Whoa.
voting.
Voting,
Oh.
bolts.
They're
Jamie Lee
taking
does
those
a good one on that, on that voting and politics and the polls. Here
The
comes the
electrons.
polls.
They're
Politics, many bloodsuckers.
Yeah, polarizing the humanity.
Well, that's why I feel Trump is here. He's just a puppet. He's just the shadow. I mean, he has to be the person to help everything break down with the child sex trafficking and the root of everything. There has to be somebody that's gonna hold it down and get blamed on while the illusion crumbles, and that's what we're gonna be seeing. Everybody's just projecting on Trump right now, but oh my gosh, this movement QAnon, they have a phrase called "watch the water."
What?
Really?
Yes, but nobody ever talks about it, and my partner
two
showed it
W's.
to me.
Oh.
Yeah, and watch, we are the change here.
Well, that's why it's www.
Oh,
The waters.
Waters, baby.
Worldwide
Water,
waters
water,
of the
water.
web.
Waterworld,
Yes.
Kevin Costner.
yes.
Yeah.
The World Wide Wake is what we say in our tribe.
And brother and sister are kind of liquid images because brother is like broth of gold. And then sister is like a cistern that's used to distill an essence of something.
Yeah.
It's
Wow,
all that liquid.
it's all going down to the liquid. It's
Yeah.
like what's our ether. It's the wow.
Quid.
Our currency.
Quid. They call that money in
Right,
Britain. Quid.
right.
Quid?
How much quid you got? Yeah,
Yeah,
quid is cash
liquid.
in Britain.
Liquid.
Yeah, got a few quids.
Got
We
a
say
few
that in Australia as
20
well.
quid, please. You say
Right.
quid too in
Yeah,
Australia?
we use it. Quid.
So the water codes, it's like in all of our DNA, if you just see it floating in a sea, it's all distorted, it's all intertwined, and essentially we're inviting in this life force to rewire our water codes, and we're waking up the memories, and as we wake up the memories within, they start manifesting without. This is a manifestation of our memory, of our fractal. We are our fractal. This is our soul family. We have activated ourselves enough to find each other to create this structure, and then boom. It happens. It's all in the relationships. It's building that connection, that human connection again. Not moving away from, but towards. And technology has actually helped us with that, because the beginning of technology was radios, and radios were made out of quartz crystals, and crystals are a form of water.
And Christ.
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 Yes.
Crystal.
Christ the L. Yeah, because these are like very conscious
Christ the
beings.
elect.
This is the most
Yeah.
dense form of matter, right? So Alvin Boyd Kuhn says that light gets
he's so good,
entombed.
he's so
Alvin Boyd Kuhn's
God, I have all
exceptionally good. Like, he is the best, I would say. The
on
best.
the blood in the Red
because
Sea and all that stuff is so good.
his material is exquisite. These guys are great in truth content, but
Wow.
Alvin Boyd Kuhn, like, it makes it poetic. It makes you feel divine when you're reading him.
Yes.
And he explains how light is, bursts out of its source and then just gets entombed in a Christ-like crystal,
Yeah.
and then breaks away radioactively, and then comes back out and disentangles itself again, and it's a play. And this is the symbol of that process, because that's light.
Yeah.
It's amazing light. They put them in their phones, and that is what holds all the information in counter space. These are
Cloud.
crystals, vibrations,
Exactly.
quartz crystal clocks. You see,
Yes.
why
Yes.
are they more accurate? Because they vibrate at such a steady, stable rate that you can tell time with them all the time. Yeah,
Why do
correctly.
we store information in the cloud? Because it's water. It's
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. That's good. Nice one. That's good.
Oh, technology. What a mirror for us.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes.
Such
Nice
a
fractal.
mirror.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's great.
So, man.
Phenomenal.
And look how many times people project their shadows on social media. Like, like, no more social media, no more technology. Like, yo, it's a part of you. It's an extension of you. Like,
It's just another world.
How you use it. Just like it's how you talk to yourself. It's the how, it's not the what.
So what am I?
Back on.
A limited edition human.
That's another one of yours. Yep, beautiful. So yeah, we are limited edition, aren't we? So remember the eagle that flew over and blessed us with mental clarity, right? It's beautiful. So remember when the Pope had that dove?
And the raven attacked it?
So symbolical, because why? Because Noah, the first bird was a raven. And then a dove.
3 times.
And both of those are on the ecliptic. The raven is Corvus in Leo, and the dove is in Gemini? Yeah, the dove, Columba. So he throws this dove out, and the poor thing starts panicking, hits the wall or something, and then the dove comes along and the raven comes along and eats it. So what does that mean? Well, that means that the heavens, the mental field, air, in their little Vatican area is not blessed. It's being devoured. It's
Great
very symbolical.
Wow.
I just decoded the raven and the dove.
Okay.
You guys got to check it out. That whole, if you look at the tarot's in there and the cards of destiny.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. That whole symbol, it's all yin yang in it, and it breaks all down.
Black and white.
Black and white, baby.
The raven and the dove.
Black and white. You got to live in the gray, man, the silver. That's why it's all about the 47, which is silver.
Wow.
Neutrality.
Silver is
That's actually
related to the
that's actually antimony, but
but silver's related to the moon, right?
it is. But it's the 47th element, and the tetragrammaton equals 47. Washington D.C. equals 47. White House equals 47. Jordan Maxwell equals 47. If you're a fan of Zachariah Sitchin, his name equals 47. So many people and things. Georgetown University equals 47. So it's a lot of silver.
Jesuit.
Jesuit's 20.
I mean, Georgetown is Jesuit, sorry.
Georgetown, it is. A Jesuit equals 20, which is the judgment card. They think they're judging you.
Yeah, Jesuits, they think they got it all.
Yeah. But they're playing, if you can become neutral to that and just be an observer and just they're just doing their job.
They're just living their part
So
of
when
the
you can
story.
become comfortable with that
Yeah.
and you own that space, then you just okay, keep doing what you got to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, but you're going to lose because you're destructive and I'm constructive.
Yeah.
So,
It's the balancing. You're staying here so that your pendulum doesn't swing to this or that. And that's why when we have these ideals, we can't attach to them, because if you attach to them, you make them dense, which is related to the left brain. And in Doth said that he got lost in the world of angles and he got chased down by demons, but he was originally in the world of spirals. Everything was infinite, and then in the world of angles it got chased down. So that's like symbolic for the way that we're thinking now, right? We're instead of absorbing information in a left angle way, we're absorbing it in the right absorption, because when you're right brain, you can absorb anything you want at any time. But it's both. It's not one or the other. It's both, because we have to have that left brain to anchor us in. So if the life force flows through our bodies and it comes from our hearts, the heart has to have that pure intention, and then it goes into the right brain so the right brain can imagine it, and then the left brain can actually make a plan, and then it circles back down to the heart to purify it again to make sure the plan is pure, and then it goes down to the solar plexus so that the solar plexus can make it happen and do, and then it comes back up, and that's a figure 8.
you talked extensively about the left and right on Saturday, the L and R.
Yes.
13, the 12 and 18, the 12th and 18th letter.
Yep.
That's the hangman and the moon card.
That's why it's in
Surrendering
Israel.
to the moon, yeah.
That's why it's in the word Israel, because it's telling you about white light, red and blue. And Ra is radiation, and L is gravitation, the electron. Ra is the proton, and Isis is the neutron, if you want to look at it that way, because they all have to syncretize that way. There's only one trinity: dielectricity, magnetism, electricity. That's it. That's the trinity of all trinities. Theology is science. Therefore, rather than throwing away the wrong model, as Walter Russell did in Atomic Suicide, the wrong model of the atom, you can salvage it, you know, and teach it the correct way. Like you said before, stay neutral. You know, we see these evil things and the Jesuits and all these baddies. Thank the heavens that you didn't get that gig.
Yeah.
They're going to a very, very bad place one day.
Well, I think I think everybody here earned the position you're at. If you believe in reincarnation, you earn that position.
Yes.
So, and again, it's like, okay, you just do your thing. You're going to get your karma anyway. I don't have to even, because once you start to emotionally involve and program your water, you then feed that machine that you pretty much despise, right? So all these people, especially on social media,
Speak louder.
especially on social media, they just give so much energy into the politics and just this bad stuff that's going wrong, and they're feeding the very one thing they despise.
Yeah, they're
And they keep it alive.
Like you said, putting it out in the water. So
Yes.
if they get first go at telling you what the day's going to be like on the news, that's why they get you morning now. The morning news. Come and hear the bad news. So they program the water. That's what they're doing.
Morning.
In the morning, so you can be mourning for the rest of the day.
Instead of rising, rise.
Instead of dawning.
Wow.
A new dawn.
You're gone.
Wake.
All these great words.
You know that passage in the Bible about putting on the armor of God?
Oh yeah? Yeah.
Do you think that has... So it kind of starts down with it starts with the helm of salvation, and then the sandals of...
The shoes shod with the good news of telling the truth.
Yes. Do you think this has anything to do with the long-term process of the chrism, starting with purifying the head and then working down to create the breastplate of righteousness? Because it purifies the blood, and perhaps that crystalline chrism infuses itself into the body to create a kind of spiritual armor. And I'm also wondering if that's related to this phenomenon of tribes consulting crystal skulls. Are these people who have mastered the ascension process to such a degree that their physiology has become crystallized as a means to become timeless and transmit knowledge from counter space continuously to the rest of the tribe as a kind of stopgap for their own process of ascension?
Yes, I would say so. Absolutely, it makes sense, and I've heard, not only does it make sense, I've heard that is how it is. These crystals have been programmed, and souls are in there. There are many, many souls in these crystals, and they're waiting to come out at the right time, you know. As I would say, the information in these crystals, in these things, they're similar, you know, they're programmed, and there's information, and souls are like that in crystals.
The magician has the orb, and he can place information in the orb, or demons in the orb. If you study any black magicians, which you know that takes some courage to do that, but
Absorb.
the orb, yeah.
That makes so much sense. So it's absorbing what we're saying, and we're crystallizing everything. So we're vessels. We're the water bearers. We're the vessels of knowledge, and we crystallize so that we can absorb the knowledge and transmit the knowledge. But we have to be in our free energy. We can't take electrons from people. We have to be in our abundant. Our cup is full. All is well. When you say all is well, it's a well, a full cup. You're well. Get well.
Yes.
That point about not taking electrons from others, these are takers. The ascending people are givers. That's why Manly P. Hall spoke about it. He says, when we become solar heroes, finally, unlike Jupiter, not Alvin Boyd Kuhn, thank you, both of them, I think they both spoke about this, how everything is inverted. We come here and we're taught to be takers. All the government's got social security and welfare, and let's send mummy, what have you got, and daddy, and school, and, right? When we become a solar hero, like the sun, it's always giving. It gives its light to the evil and the good. It rains upon everyone's garden. Doesn't matter if you're a criminal, a pedophile, or a charity giver. It's unconditional. So when you become a solar hero, and there's another, look at that, a raven landed right about when we're about to finish. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, God. Crow, the corvus, the crow, the raven. They have two names, crow and raven.
And crow's the 24th.
Robin.
And that's your animal. One of your animals. The crow's the 24th animal.
I know, that's me. The crow is Kronos. right? And Raven is
The keeper
Ra,
of
Ra Ben,
illusions. The keeper of
or
illusions and
Reuben.
secrets.
In the evergreen pine tree.
Wow.
the children of Ben, or Reuben means the son of Ra. So that's the son of Ra.
No wonder it took you guys so long to figure out where we were at. You were guys not here, not here,
Yeah.
not here. We gotta figure it out.
We got the right spot, and I'm in black
Yeah.
like a crow.
Wow. Wow.
That's just too
That's
good.
amazing, dude.
Yeah. So we had the eagle before. What kind of
That was a
eagle was
hawk.
that?
It was a
Oh,
hawk.
it was a hawk. Even better, I think.
That was a hawk, man. That was a beautiful hawk.
Yeah, so the way back is the Son. Jesus says, no one goes to the Father except through me, because it's a wormhole, a holy, hallowed wormhole in the heavens, and it's a portal. It's empty. Thank you, Eric Dollard. That's why the black sunspots show you that it's empty. And he says that the only arcing, electrical arcing or anything, is on the surface of the Sun. So
The sun
Yeah.
is the womb.
it is.
The sun is made of hydrogen.
Mm-hmm.
In the
Pause.
physical.
Hydrogen is water. Thank you, water god.
I was gonna go by the hydrogen priestess, but it just didn't work out, so I picked the water priestess.
The water
Nobody's
priestess.
gonna get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like hydro though because it's an anagram for door. It is the door. And the next element is helium, which is hell, and it's two. Anything in duality, helium, hell, anything below hydrogen is the plane of hell. So hydro, hydro, water, is door, the doorway. Hydrogen sun is the doorway. So Heliognostics, true Christians are Heliognostics. So I guess we can close our conversation to hail Sol Invictus. Helios, the healer, and thank him. Hail Sol Invictus. And so thank you. Thanks for listening to us, folks.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
plenty-
That's
Hail
why,
Sol
but that's why Domino's Pizza has the 1 and 2 domino, hydrogen and helium.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it's blue and red.
Yep, heaven and hell,
They know what's going on, man.
for sure.
Yep.
Hail Sol Invictus.
Helios.
Bye, guys.